UFOs. I'm Jane Pauley, and this is Time and Again.
The following program is brought to you in living color. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening to you.
This is Waldo Thomas in New York.
Hello, my governor. I'm Chuck Wade, your host.
We have 73 television cameras on Mayday Road. President Nixon is actively...
One small step for man.
Greetings, Earthlings. This is a show about unidentified flying objects, flying saucers if you prefer, a subject you almost certainly already have an opinion about. Whether you believe in them or not, you can't deny the sheer persistence of UFO stories, which first appeared on the national radar 50 years ago. It all began with an unexplained sighting over Washington State in June 1947. Followed that July by what's become known as the Roswell incident, the crash of a spy balloon, according to the U.S. military, the fatal crash of an alien spaceship, according to a dedicated cadre of UFO buffs, conspiracy theorists, and assorted watchers of the sky. This Independence Day weekend, thousands of the faithful have gathered in Roswell, New Mexico, for the 50th anniversary of the incident. With all the attention they're getting, we thought it would be a good time to delve into the NBC News archives for past coverage of UFOs.
And there were signs and portents in the sky, or were there? Suddenly, people from coast to coast began seeing something up there. Something called flying saucers. We'd broken the sound barrier and hit the moon with radar. This was the age of missiles and rockets. We were getting used to wonders. So why not visitors from outer space? Hundreds of people told Air Force investigators they'd seen the saucers with their own eyes. Bright, shiny things that wished through the air at incredible speeds. Even airline pilots who seldom indulge in fantasy reported sighting them. And Air Force flyers told of chasing them, or something, all over the sky. The Air Force called them unidentified flying objects. But people went right on calling them saucers and seeing them. There was something in the air.
There was something in the air, all right. Over the years, hundreds of people from all walks of life have claimed to have seen UFOs. Some even described close encounters with alien beings. Here's a sampling.
We've seen them.
You've seen them?
Yeah.
Around here?
We've seen from 3 to 7 in the sky at night.
A smaller object, almost identical in size, came up from behind it, attached itself to the bottom of it.
It wasn't a helicopter because when it did take off or fly away, it flew at a rapid rate of speed.
I told the Major that that tower beacon is paralleling us, or coming with us.
It was just getting larger and larger. It looked like a landing light on a commercial aircraft.
We just kept looking and couldn't figure out the problem why. And she was looking over there too. She said, well, it's one of those UFOs, tell what you're talking about.
About the time that I've seen it, it seemed to just stop, just land. And all of a sudden, one end of it just opened up.
It scared me because I didn't know what it was. I knew it was an airplane or nothing like that because it sat down too low and it came too low towards the house.
At one point, it was right over our car, following us right up the road here until we made the turn. And it made the turn and crossed right over in front of us.
And they had arms, and they didn't have hands as we have. They had more or less like pinchers or claws or something like that.
This object was there. There isn't any question in my mind about it.
The mid-1970s was a particularly active time for UFO sightings. On December 15, 1974, NBC News responded to the phenomenon with a special report called UFOs, Do You Believe?, anchored by Jim Hartz. Here's how that program began.
Some say they are space beings from another world.
They had arms, something like human arms, human beings' arms, but their hands were well, like this.
Some say they are a mass psychological delusion of the 20th century.
I saw a flying object that was not manufactured, in my opinion, on this earth. That was metallic, and it was an aircraft.
Some say they're advanced space vehicles being built by the Americans or the Russians or somebody here on Earth.
It was definitely a flying craft.
And I say maybe they are the angels of God.
Right about this position here in the plexiglass, I observed the UFO.
But then when we saw this red dome on top, we knew, and no sound at all from it. We knew that it had to be, a UFO.
In front of this tree, you're not...
Well, it came over and then came down a little bit lower than it.
Mm-hmm.
And then went back up. And it right in a perfect V shape.
What we do know from refining this data is that something is being seen in our atmosphere, that this something is craft-like in nature, it's solid.
Here's something going on in the sky. People report it constantly, over and over and over again for 30 years. It's part of our environment. Why isn't it something that's known?
Everything got quiet before the incident that was taking place. There was no sound involved. There was no worry. You couldn't hear a pin drop. It definitely was late.
The evidence is overwhelming that planet Earth is being visited by intelligently controlled vehicles from off the Earth. In other words, some UFOs are somebody else's spacecraft.
We've had, in this country alone, several tens of thousands of UFO reports. Yet there has not been a single crashed extraterrestrial spaceship. There hasn't been a single piece fall off of one.
You see, the idea of us being visited should be the hypothesis of last resort. Only when every other possibility is eliminated do we go to such exotic possibilities.
It was in the late 1940s when people first began reporting unidentified flying objects, or flying saucers as they were then called. For a while it was a sensation, and enough attention was centered on the subject to cause the United States Air Force to begin a study of the phenomenon. For several years that quieted the public clamor, and then 5 years ago the Air Force closed its investigation with the conclusion that even though a small percentage of the sightings could not be explained, Earth was not being visited from outer space. That, however, did not put an end to the UFO sightings. In fact, during the last 2 years, they've been increasing in number. Tonight, we will hear from people who claim to have seen unidentified flying objects. We will also hear from people who believe that some UFOs are spaceships from somewhere else, and from other people who do not believe that at all. We're going to report how that question stands at the moment, and let you decide. Do you believe?